Hello there. Well, it's been all over the news, it's making headlines. Today we're going to talk tariffs, specifically how the US and potentially Canadian tariffs are going to impact the Canadian real estate market. So today we're just in mid-February here, and President Trump just signed an executive order that is going to basically impose 25% tariffs on all steel and aluminum products that are being imported into the United States from all countries in the world. However, of course, Canada is going to be impacted the most because of this tariff, because we are by far the largest foreign supplier of aluminum and steel products to the United States, bar none. All other countries combined don't supply as much of those products as we do here in Canada. So brace yourself if you're in those segments, those sectors. I'm hoping that those company leaders have already started to take steps to adjust and pivot so that they can work within these guidelines moving forward. We've seen this before. Last time President Trump was in power, those tariffs were put in place back then to those industries in steel and aluminum, and he's doing it again. So hopefully it's not going to be for long, but nevertheless, it is going to be a short-term pain for all those affected in those particular industries. Why does this matter? So if President Trump does end up putting the 25% tariffs across the board on all Canadian products, except he, of course, has made an exception. He's carving out the energy sector, so oil and gas products here especially in Alberta, where we supply the largest amount of crude oil down to the States. This is going to impact us the most. However, it's not going to be as bad as the 25% tariffs on all the other products. So if you're a buyer, if you're a seller, if you're a renter, if you're a landlord, if you're an investor, this is going to affect you in the Canadian real estate market by far. So what's happening here with these tariffs? Let's just take a step back and see how does this really impact us. If you think about it, the 25% tariffs that the president is suggesting he wants to impose on all products from Canada, that means everything that the US imports from Canada will be subject to another 25% levy, basically. So the US public, the US consumers, whether it be builders or whatever the case may be, they're going to have to suffer with an additional 25% added to those costs. Basically, what that's going to do is rattle those consumers into looking for alternatives, such as President Trump hopes internally that those consumers are going to be looking to the US market for all their other choices. And if that happens, of course, that means that the Canadian producers of those products are going to end up starting to have slowdowns, maybe enough slowdowns to even impact the job market, meaning that there's potential of layoffs, maybe some pretty large amounts of layoffs, especially when it comes to manufacturing. So those people that are in the auto industry, steel, aluminum, that's going to impact you quite heavily. It's probably not even going to take very long before those consumers down in the United States are going to look for alternatives. And this means that there's a good chance that there's going to be some restructuring within the companies and potentially even layoffs for the short term, while those companies are looking for alternative markets to sell their products to. So how is this going to impact consumer confidence? Let's think about this. If you're in the auto sector, or if you're a manufacturing employee of any kind, if you're worried about your job right now, you're probably not going out to buy those big ticket items like autos or expensive televisions or electronics or especially homes. So, of course, this means that the Canadian real estate market in those areas is going to be impacted tremendously. With the lower demand, more than likely means that the builders are going to have to pull back from their projects. And as we know, we are already suffering here in Canada with a housing crisis. You heard it, it was in the news, all over the news for the last couple of years, where we just don't have enough homes. We're not building enough homes to supply the demand that's out here with all the people moving to Canada. That being said, in the meantime, just to make sure that the builders are not getting themselves into too much trouble, they might pull back on those projects. They might cancel them altogether. And of course, that'll only worsen the situation for our supply and demand in Canada here. Ontario, Quebec, the Maritimes, BC, you're going to be tremendously impacted in all those sectors that have those manufacturing jobs that supply all those critical products to the United States. Softwood lumber, aluminum, steel, and any kind of manufacturing for that matter. And if that is going to happen for a long enough time, you're probably going to start to see people who are laid off or just decide to move elsewhere, looking for a lower cost of living. Of course, in Alberta here, we do have the lowest cost of living in all of Canada. And that's because we don't have a provincial tax, our energy costs are lower, and of course, we don't even have much of a homeowner's tax. Property transfer taxes is what they're called here in Alberta. We actually didn't have any until just October, and now we have a very minimal cost of, I believe it's around $900 for each purchase, which is minimal by comparison to what the other provinces in Canada have. So again, the Canadian real estate market is going to be impacted tremendously across Canada, less so here in Alberta. As a matter of fact, in Alberta, if anything, we're probably going to have a short-term slowdown, but then it's going to end up seeing a huge demand for all of the real estate that is here right now, let alone the builders that are trying to keep up as it is with all the influx of people that are already coming to Alberta, let alone if we see tremendous layoffs and people from all over Canada moving back here to Alberta again. My thoughts, final thoughts, is this gonna crush and basically kill the real estate market? No, definitely not. The short answer is no. It is gonna impact it. We're gonna find other ways to get around working within these tariffs, just like we always have. Just like COVID had huge effects, and there was always ways to work around it. This is gonna do the same thing. Alberta is probably gonna have a softer blow than the rest of Canada, but it's still gonna impact us as well. Of course, we are very heavily dependent on the energy sector here. So not everybody's gonna lose in this though. If you are already a homeowner, if you already own a rental property, if you're an investor and you're a landlord, you are gonna be on the winning side of this, especially in the long term. Short term, there might be some adjustments. Alberta especially, you're gonna see your home values, your property values are gonna go up. Whether it's residential, commercial, it's all gonna go up. As demand goes up, it's gonna end up increasing all across the board, whether it's new builds or resale. So if you're considering buying, I would suggest buy as soon as possible, especially here in Alberta. If you're an investor and you're thinking, hey, you know what, now is the time to buy some investment properties, you're right. This is a great time to take advantage of this situation. And as demand increases for your rental properties and you have vacancies, you're probably going to be able to take advantage of the market and end up increasing your rents. Let's face it, when buyers can't afford to buy, they still need a roof over their head. So they're going to turn to the rental market, and there's going to be a huge demand for your rental products. More than likely, you'll be able to benefit by increasing your rents and maybe even being more choosy about what kind of tenants you're going to place into your properties. That being said, the other kind of a side benefit of this is the Bank of Canada is likely going to drop those interest rates even further to stimulate the economy, much more so than they originally planned. Some of the Bank of Canada experts were predicting potentially going down to as low as 1.5% again. So if that happens, that's a positive sign for the buyers. Again, you can take advantage of that. But if you're here in Alberta, I wouldn't wait. You're waiting for the interest rates to drop is never going to make up for the amount of the price that's going to end up increasing in the homes. You're never going to be able to make up those losses. So if you're considering buying, buy now. If you're considering taking advantage of the situation and you're a seller and you can sell and move elsewhere or take advantage of the situation, by all means do so. This is an opportunity. Just like every challenge, there's always an opportunity. Hope you really saw value in this information. What do you think? I'd like to hear from you. How is this tariff threat, or if the tariffs come into play, just like they already have for steel and aluminum products, how is this going to impact you? How is this going to impact your decision when it comes to real estate? Please leave the comments below. I read all the comments and I'll reply to every single one. I'm looking forward to hearing from you on that. Hope you liked the video. Please hit the like button and please subscribe. That way you'll never miss out on any of these videos moving forward. Thank you very much.